Hola, people! Incredible afternoon. Incredible afternoon, everybody. Let's see. That's the wrong one. Let's go over here and he's so crazy. All right, I had to turn this on. Let's go over to Facebook, change the audience over here. Make sure that you guys smash that like button as you come in and also share it out. I should have actually changed the title of this, but that's okay. All righty. Let me go ahead and share this out. Okay. I guess let's put sublimation graduation stole because you actually can do graduation stoles with HTV as well, or even DTF prints, especially if you're doing a bulk order. But for this one, we are going to do sublimation. So just give me a moment. I want to go ahead and just share this out, put it in my groups. So just bear with me real quickly here and we will get started. And again, I'm going through pretty much just showing you how to press it, not designing it or anything like that. These are the steps that you would take to actually press a graduation stole the professor way. All right. Oh, it won't let me do everyone from it won't let me do everyone like that into the group. So I'll have to go back into it and do that. So just give me a moment. I need to go ahead and share it again and share it to my group. How are you guys doing? Make sure that you guys go ahead and drop your city and state. Let me know where you're watching from. Drop those peacocks because y'all already know the colors on this is about to be fire. So go ahead, drop those peacocks. Drop a hey, how you doing? Let me know where you are watching from. All right. So, hey, incredible afternoon. Thank you for checking in from Virginia. Hello, incredible afternoon, or if it's still morning for you, incredible morning, incredible greetings. Hey, just say hello. Thank you for joining from Virginia as well. Texas in the building. Thank you for dropping those peacocks, Jesse. All right, so Lafayette, Louisiana. How are you, Content Creations? Thank you guys so much for jumping on. I'm going to give it a little minute for others to get on because I did just send out, like I just shared it. Got to give it time for the notifications. So we're just going to, like I said, give it a little minute for those to get on because I'm only going to press this. I'm going to press it twice. I'm going to press it once where I'm doing it with a roll of sublimation paper, and then I'm going to press it again with I'm going to press it again with sheets of paper taped together. So it's not going to be, a lot of them, a big order where you can see it multiple times. I'm pressing this 2 times and 2 times only. It's not a full-on like decorated one. This is again to show you how to press it. So I just did a plain solid design, nothing fancy to it, and that's how we're going to set this one up. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and share this one to a group. can never share too many times from too many places. So let's go here. And we're going to share it again. All right. So all shared out. All righty. So hello, everybody. I am Shakia, the professor of HSINK365. We are the home of the Honestly Speaking brand of products. We carry Sublimation ink, Sublimation paper, pigment ink. We have templates for the outlines that you can design, your stoles and your grad caps, all those different things over, and yard signs, all that kind of good jazz over on shop.hsink365.com. If you want to design these yourself, you definitely can do that within Silhouette Studio. It is a free software that you use to control the camera machines, but it is actually a really good standalone software for beginners who are getting into designing and beyond. I'm very, very well versed when it comes to designing, and Silhouette Studio is still one of my favorite go-to softwares. So definitely check that out if you aren't familiar with Silhouette, or if you really, really want to unlock all the power of Silhouette Studio, consider enrolling in our 30-day training. It is on discount right now at checkout for $53.65. So it's an amazing price to get over 40 hours of learning instructions within that one training. Okay. And then of course, you're going to see me use the rolls. We are sold out right now. There are several places where you can look at to get the rolls. They're not all created equal. So you may want to try it out, but this is why I'm also going to show you how you can do it with just regular paper, because you can do it that way if you don't have the rolls, the roll paper, all right? And you pretty much print it the exact same way, all right? Typically, most people just want them one-sided. I have done some that are front and back because I had someone that was graduating from high school and college. So rather than have two separate ones, I did do front and back. The one that's actually right here is like that, but most times it's just single-sided. But this is done front, like both sides are done. So this was the college side, very simplistic, and then we had a little fun with the high school side. All right. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with this, because it's, want this to be not too long of a video so that we get right to the nitty gritty, because it's just simply about pressing it. So, and this isn't the best print on this one because my black actually I need to actually push air. But for the sake of this tutorial, I wasn't worried about it. I wasn't going to print it out because it's not for an order. So I do have some lines in my black, but that's perfectly fine. Like, I'm not going to stress over that right now. But I just have this where this is the one print. This is on our rolls. This is also tacky paper. We do have some tacky paper sheets, and you can press it. For the other one, I'm not going to use the tacky sheets. I'm going to use fast dry sheets so you can just see what the process will be. So this is already printed out. I forgot to move my microphone. If you don't know, when it comes to Epson printers, you can print up to 47 inches long. So you're not limited to just 8.5 by 11, 8.5 by 14, or 13 by 19. Every single Epson printer can print up to 47 inches long. The 8550 actually can print 78 inches long. So you can make mini banners if you get the proper paper for it. We're not talking about that, so don't ask me where to get banner paper from. So what I'm going to show you is how I load this. You can put it in the back, the rear feed, depending on how your printer is set up, and it might be easier for you to put it in the rear feed. For me, I cannot really reach my rear feed where they are, so I don't typically use it a lot. I always feed it in from the front, and you can do that. You're just going to let it hang over, and then it's going to print. You're not going to be able to see the printer actually printing this out because I don't have a camera over there, but just know that it prints out, right? It printed out straight from the front, didn't it? Okay, so my sister's here. All right, so This one, I normally can print both sides on a 13 by 19, like taped together, or 13-inch wide roll. But for the sake of this, because I wanted to show you guys, I'm going to do this basically on 8.5. So I'm just going to put it there, and it lays flat. If you have the roll, because it's going to roll up on you, just roll it the other way, kind of crease it a little bit, it'll lay flat. So it's going to be like this. I'm literally going to put it in my printer just like this. The back is extended all the way out so that it just hangs off and it doesn't pinch it, and it just hangs off. And I'm going to put it in the printer just like this. All right. So it's going to tell you that the paper is a mismatch. So you're going to, it's going to, depending on which printer you have, it reads differently. And you'll basically make sure that you are printing it on the right one. I'll go over that at the end, as far as like how it will read, because every printer is different. All right. So I'm going to go back over to the, to our screen here, and I'm going to go over to Select Studio. So we're just going to go to the print settings. I already have it set up as a preset. I have plenty of videos that go over presets. So all I do is just hit my 8.5-inch roll or 13-inch sub roll, and it gives me all of my settings. Everything here is exactly how I have it when it comes to the regular paper. Plain paper, bright white, set to the highest setting, quiet mode on. Of course, I print everything Adobe RGB, Gamma 1.8, mirror, high speed, doesn't even matter. We're going to go over here to maintenance. And if you're using the tacky paper, you want to take that density down to like -20, somewhere in there. For the fast dry, I'm normally anywhere from -5 to -10. All right. So that's exact same settings. Over here, when it comes to like your preset and your document size, to set the roll, you just go to user define, and you'll see there it tells you what the smaller size is all the way up to the max size. So I have it set for, if it's the 8.5-inch one, 8.5 by 47. And it doesn't matter if I'm printing 26 inches, 30 inches, 40 inches, all of them have the same exact settings. Like I just use the same one. And then of course I go through all the steps to create a preset where I just click it and it's done. So I've already sent this to print. It's actually printing out now. We're going to go over to the heat press, and we're going to, we're going to print in, we're going to go ahead and press this. Okay. So you want to pre-press it to, one, knock out the lines that are in here. So we're going to go ahead and pre-press. Actually, do it. I don't know why I was about to do this the long way, the short way. I can get 2 lines knocked out. This also helps you set your pressure. Right now, I'm dialed up too high because I'm at 5, and I really don't need it to be that high. So I'm going to turn that. I'm going to flip this and just press that line out. So we can have, I ain't no dang on pressure. Press that so we're at a good 1. That's going to be good. Press that for a little bit, again, to knock the moisture out, as well as the line. Because I'm using the tacky paper, you have to remove that moisture in order for that adhesive to actually adhere to the fabric. If there's moisture in it, it's not going to stick. Now this stove has something on it, which is why I'm using it for demo purposes. So it may show up on the print, it may not, but there's like a little blue mark on this one. There's a stove I got that was messed up. That's why I said I'll just use this one. I'm not going to create a design. This is not for an order. This is strictly for demo purposes. All right. Now that we've done this, now it is better, and I wish I had my table where I can do this. It is much better to set this up on a long table. Much better to do it that way. I do recommend having the wider heat tape as well as the shorter heat tape, because we want to tape off the top part of this so that it doesn't get on the other side. Oh God, where's my Y? It might be out there. Hold on one second. Boom, there we go. Wait, is this up? There we go. See, I love my sister. So I'm going to do it one side at a time. So on this side, I'm going to use my tape. You can use a 3-inch tape, 2-inch tape. This is a 3-inch one. And I'm just going to put that on this side because the print is wider than this, and I don't want it to get on this side. Nah, use my teeth. You can move the shot. All right. And what I did with that first print. Oh. Oh, Lord, my sister wasn't here. Jesus. All right. Actually, I probably put this on the wrong side, depending on which one this is. And I think I did. No, I didn't. That's the right one. Wait. Yeah, it's the right side. So this is why, because this is so long, this is a 70-inch one. It's long. So trying to get it to make sure it's lined up because gravity will pull and all that stuff. It is better to do this on, oh, wait a minute now. Wait a minute. Okay, this is a little bit off. Whoa. All right, I don't know, but again, luckily this was just for demo purposes. This it was slightly off. I may go in and adjust this template because this may have been a different style and it needs to be out a little bit more. Okay. So because this is tacky paper, I don't have to use a lot of tape because once I press it, it's going to tack into place and it's not going to move. Now, when I do the other one, you're going to see me use a lot more tape because I need to secure that because it can move. Yeah, this one is way different. So I'm going to tell you now, this is going to be a little bit off. This is a different sole. So I probably have to, I'm going to actually make another template based off of this one because this is slightly different. I forgot where I got this one from, but this is definitely different than my standard. So yeah, it's not even reaching all the way to the top. All right. So yeah, that's going to button. So I'm letting you know now for this one, it's not going all the way to the top. It's actually a little bit off. I just realized that. Yeah, it's way off. You know, because most of the ones I got from this company actually had that mark on it, and I was like, I'll never order from them again. And it's also made way differently. Like theirs is totally different. All right. Yeah, because this doesn't even have, my bleed is the width of this. So I am going to do another template for this, and it's not as long. I mean, it's only a little bit that I'm off down here. But this is like this, right? And I'm going to put another little piece up here. So technically, although this is tacky paper, and I don't really need it to be taped down, I am going to tape this down only because it's going to stick to the stole. However, if this doesn't have bleed, but let's say if it did have a lot of bleed to it, if you go and you press it and this paper moves and you're just moving this and it like the next clean part goes to where there's ink, you're going to have blowout on the other side. So for this one, I am going to tape it to my butcher paper. You don't have to waste your good old heat tape if you don't want to. For this one, because you're not actually touching the garment, you can use just your regular tape. Thank you. You can use regular masking tape. This is cheaper. This comes from the Dollar Tree. So you're paying $1.25 for this versus, you know, how much you would pay for your heat tape. So I just need this to be stuck to my butcher paper. I don't really need this much either. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm thinking with that. Really don't need that much. Again, this is just so that I can move it and my butcher paper moves with my print. I took my butcher paper and cut it in half because I was using, with the size of the stove, you don't have to waste like one whole piece. Just cut it in half. That way you can use one however long slice for one whole stove. All right. I want to press as much as possible. So I'm going to press it the long way. And I'm going to push it all the way back as far as it can go. And we're going to press it for 30 seconds. From Silhouette Studio, yes, it's RGB, not CMYK. And then from there, I'm just going to move it back. You want to make sure that that overlaps. The press overlaps where you pressed it, but where that line is. And then the other print is already out. And see, by me taping it together, it's one whole piece. It operates like it's one whole piece. I just wanted to check that area if I needed to press it again because it was bunched up. I wasn't quite sure. Try not to have it bunched up. So yeah, I wasn't quite sure if it will mess up because it was bunched up when I pushed it back there. That's why I was behind the heat press. I just realized I was behind the heat press. Y'all probably saw me in my little raggedy wig, Jesus, and my little raggedy edges when I was, let me see something. They see me when I was, okay, they couldn't see me. I was like, wait a minute now. Not going to show this side just yet. We're going to do the other side. Now, I don't need this. This is stuck to this. Even if I were to take this tape off, well, y'all can't hear it. Let me come over here. You hear it peeling off? It was stuck to it. It was not, it's not just a little piece of tape that's holding it up. And now that I know I really don't need this, I don't have to put one on the other side because, again, this particular template isn't going all the way to the edge. I'm going to remake with this one just in case someone happens to come across this company. I think I remember where it came from, but not really remember where it came from. So now I'm going to do the other side. Now, this is fast dry paper. It's not tacky in any way, shape, or form. So you're going to have to pay a little bit more attention and use a little bit more tape on this to make sure it does not move when you go to move it in the heat press. Oh yeah, I can tell this is different. The point is different on this than my other one. When you're looking at this one, it looks different. So when you're taping it together, key places we want to put tape is definitely where the pages are taped together. And then we can just put some tape in the middle. And then again, we're going to put a couple pieces in the middle. This is 1-inch tape. So we're kind of using not as much tape. I mean, there are some people that have the little tape and they have to put a bunch of tape. But right now, I'm using the 1-inch tape. Again, this is not going to be perfect. Given that disclaimer, it's not going to be perfect. This particular template I did not realize was different for this particular stole. I end up not using a lot of these stoles. Actually, I didn't use any of these stoles because they all had blue marks on them when I purchased them. So that's why I didn't realize that they didn't even match up. All right. Same deal with this one. With the butcher paper, you still need it so that, 1, it catches the bleed. 2, it's just one solid surface. Another disclaimer is this method, how I'm doing mine, may not, oh, you know what? I want to use, may not work with all papers. I have done these with other paper, other tacky paper on a roll, and my prints came out horrible. Like when I pressed it, having that, when your heat press goes down, having that line of like demarcation, it's like you can clearly see the line on there. I have experienced that with certain papers. So I cannot speak or attest to how your print will come out using another brand of paper. I am not saying that simply because we sell paper. It's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it because before I had my own brand of paper, I used other sub papers and it was a nightmare. My first time doing these, I didn't have my own brand of sub paper, and it was a total freaking nightmare with pressing them and then getting that little mark because of how the ink released. And once you pressed it, how it did that was, like I said, it was just a total frigid nightmare. And I went through so many stoles when I first started doing these. And I just kind of had to, figure out things on the fly when I was doing those. And once we got art paper, I was nervous the first time that I did this with art paper because of my experiences before. And then when I did it and I did not have those same issues, I was like, oh, wow, this paper is so bomb. Even though it's my brand, I was still thoroughly impressed by the results and what it did. So again, we're taping this down to it so that it doesn't move. Now, some people will use like a hardboard or something like that. I mean, you can use that if you think that it will stay in place. I am one to where I'd rather take these extra steps, these extra precautions to make sure that it does not move. That paper, it don't move. It don't move. It's like Gorilla Glue. All right. So now that side, I am going to have to make sure that I do cover it up like this extra piece of butcher paper here because there is ink on it. I don't want it to get on my platen. Now, if you want to avoid it bunching up that way, you can always press it. I will say when I did these before, I made a post a few days ago when I said 16 by 20 and 20 by heat presses are not equal. So with this one and having this piece back here, having that freedom to take up the full 20 inches because I'll press more, this gets in the way. So I have to put it off to the side. But now this heat press, because it goes this way, I will be able to lay this and not have any interference. And I can press it. I can move it and press it again. So this is a landscape style. This is a portrait style. They're not created equal, especially for things like this, okay? So for this one, I'm going to do it. If you have a 15 by 15 heat press, this represents how you're going to do this with a 15 by 15 heat press because you'll have to do it in sections for 38. All right. I'm going to put this over this because there's exposed ink right there. I probably could have given I shouldn't have adjusted the pressure. That felt a little loose going down. Hopefully I don't have any issues. I like to hold it when it's the fast dry one to make sure that I don't have that crease. So I do like to try and keep it straight. People use the hard board to keep it straight, but you can just kind of hold it yourself. I probably should have adjusted my pressure. I should have left my pressure where it was at for this one because it's not tacky. And we're just going to move it. We do want to overlap it. So this represents if you have a 15, although it's 16 inches, it's pretty much the same if you have a 15 by 15 heat press. And I'm going to pull this in to do the last part. All right, let's see. You can get them from Amazon. I got mine from someone who doesn't, my one that I like from someone who doesn't, I don't think she sells them anymore. I've gotten some direct from China. There's a lot of different vendors for grad stoles. Oh, you laughing at my song? All right. So this was the first side, and yes, I intentionally did them different. And look, you saw how we saw all those lines? Mm-hmm. What you don't see in this. You saw the print up close and personal. You don't even see the lines. Mm-hmm. So this is the one side. And again, like I said, we knew it was going to be off because it was too short. But normally it will go past it, and the tape will keep it from getting to the other side because it will be flat. Now, here is this side, and we have the line of demarcation from the tape. Now, this one right here, remember, actually, I did when I said I shouldn't have changed the pressure. So it gave me this little piece right here, like the separate. This is where the heat press was. But this is the line of demarcation where the tape was. We do this the same exact way we do our shirts, where we repress it to get that line out. I don't even have to take the tape off because all I'm doing is just pressing that line out. So I'm going to take my pressure, crank that up, and I'm going to press it with heavy pressure, and it's not going to mess up the color. So I'm going to do it that way so that I knock out 10 to 12 seconds to knock out that line of demarcation. Oh, I didn't make my paper long enough. Dang it. Oh, wait, yes, I did. It's okay. Did I? It's a line right here. I'm trying to pull this to right there. And again, this is me just knocking that line where the two sheets of paper met and the tape was there. That's making your paper area thicker. So you're going to see that impression in your substrate. Same way I do the shirts. So the line doesn't become as harsh. It's still there a little bit. Oh shoot, on this one. But it's not as harsh of a line. What happened? No, leave it there. You're fine. Oh. But here is the stole with the full trim. It's an even trim. Even with this messed up, the trim looks completely even going down the stole. And then on this side, we have the color trim and the black in the middle.
So you can only put vinyl on there now. You can't put no.
Yeah. So so I would not be able to take this and put sub it and put some of the information. I would take this now because I made it a solid color, and now I would use vinyl. So if I wanted that pop of just vinyl color or glitter or whatever, like metallic, I can now press vinyl to this to decorate it. But when you're pressing the vinyl, make sure that you do cover it up because the ink would release onto your heat press. Yeah. So I'm actually going to create a new template for this one. Huh? You finna go. My sister says now she's finna go home and design. Yeah, see, it's not that bad to press it.
No.
Yeah, some people are intimidated by it, think it's harder than what it is, but it's really not. And I think people scare others because they talk about, oh, you need a hardboard, you need this, you need that, and you really don't need all of that. I don't use a hardboard because in my space it's really hard to maneuver a hardboard in here. So I just use now I will say if you use the brown craft paper, it makes it where it's a little bit stiffer and it is easier to maneuver. But that brown craft paper stinks to high heavens when you press it. It really stinks. Or you can get the newsprint or the roll of white craft paper, like construction paper, like that. You can use that because they have that at what's that? What's this teacher school? That one. Yeah. Yeah, you can use that one. I think they also have one at Joann's or Michael's. It's just the white version. And it's for the kids to scribble on, you can use that because it's a little bit stiffer than butcher paper. But yeah. And you don't have a big old white mark other than, for me, that one right there. But that was my fault. See, on this side, you don't have it at all. On this side, you do because my silly self adjusted the pressure. So that one little line. But it's not a big line. Like some people, they have a big separation. Mm-hmm. Your client probably wouldn't even notice that. Yeah, and then if I'm doing vinyl, I probably could have covered. So doing it this way makes it to where the imperfections, I can cover that, be strategic and cover that up with vinyl. But look at those colors. Plain paper setting, and look at the black. That black is giving everything, and that's plain paper setting. She said it's giving HS ink vibes. All right, so that's how you press the stoles. You just want to make your design, make it a long print, and you're going to print it to either roll paper or piece together 8.5 by 14, 8.5 by 11. You can do 2 sheets of 13 by 19. I think it's 2 or 3 sheets of 11 by 17. So you can take your pages together and get the same results. That's how I do these as well. This was taped together. This was 2 13 or 11 by 17s taped together. I think it's right. Child, where is that? I don't even know where it's at. Because there's no, this was double press because this doesn't fit on here. And I can't even tell.
What is that?
All right. A towel. I forgot a towel. All right. Any questions? Any questions for me? Stupid. You're so silly. All right. If there are no questions, thank you guys so very much for joining us live. Oh, I think I answered all of those though. Yeah. I answered that one. Where do you get them from? Oh, that F170. I'm not sure. I've never used an F170, but I guarantee it's going to be at least, yeah, it is. It is 47. It might be longer than that, but it is. Actually, no. F170 is kind. It should be like the F570 to where it's unlimited. But you'd have to look up the specs for that. I've never used an F170, so I'm not sure what their user defined settings say. So an unlimited length would not apply when it comes to this particular printer. I'm using an Epson 7710, 7720. You're still limited to how that particular printer prints. So I'm not sure if a RIP software would affect, like, would really matter when it comes to this, because it's saying that the max is 47. I mean, for a stole, I don't need it to be longer than 47 anyway. All right, don't forget to visit our website, shop.hsink365.com. That is where you can find this paper that's going to make your life a whole lot easier when it comes to pressing the stoles, because you're not going to get those voids of color because of the way the heat releases it. And then you're right where the edge of the press was, it's going to radiate to kind of release the ink. And then when you overlap it, you're still going to have this weird gap. Trust me, I know. I'm telling y'all, I'm not saying this because I experienced this. I was a creator, just a regular creator, just like you guys were, where I was testing things out, ran through my trials, my trial and error, and had all of my issues, the same issues that you guys have experienced. And when we got this paper, that was one of the first things I noticed. And the first time I did a stole, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I dreaded doing the stoles the next year because I had so many issues. And by then I had our paper, and I was like, oh wow, this is absolutely freaking amazing. So shop at HS Ink, that game changer sublimation paper. And as you saw, 30 seconds. Each side was pressed in 30 seconds, and there's no difference in color. A lot of the times, when you're pressing at 400 for 60 seconds, at that overlap spot or on one side compared to the other, the colors will be different. You don't experience that when you're using our paper to have that color shift. It's not just me. So do you see a difference in the vibrancy and the color between one section and the other? Because this is where the double press was. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there's no change in the quality of the color. Whereas with some of the papers, when you double press it, one side is going to be lighter because you over sublimated in that area. But because we can sublimate at 365 in 30 seconds, it's going to give you much better results on those prints that you have to double press. And then, as I stated before, the 30-day training is discounted right now at checkout. If we reach our goal of 365 new enrollees by tomorrow night, the grad camp will be free to everyone that is enrolled in Essentials of Silhouette Studio, starting from March 2022 until April 9th, 2023. But that's only if we reach 365 new enrollees. If we don't reach that goal, I would just send a discount code out to everyone who is enrolled in Essentials of Silhouette Studio. No, the rolls of paper, we don't have any rolls in stock right now. But there are some people that still have it, so I wanted to show how to do it. All right, y'all. Until next time, have a great one. Continue to unlock your creativity and be incredible. Peace.